Hey everybody, just thought I'd do a quick kind of Golden Age era video about some cool stuff. I'll start out with this neat pulp. So this is Marvel Tales, came out in December of 1939. Same company, Timely Comics. So I think a few issues of Marvel comics were out by this point. But I always thought this was really cool. And these pulps are really hard to find. Well, there's usually a few up on eBay. But this one in particular has been tough to find. And pulps in general, are just difficult because there's... like the people who really care, they and know what they're selling and stuff. It's expensive. And then if you're not using them, it's almost, sometimes you can just search forever and ever and ever. And that was kind of the theme of this video, was about some comics, some Golden Age books that I've been looking for. I'd say about 2 years now, and there's been a few sales, but I have really had a hard time finding them at all. Take a look at that spine. That's the really cool part of pulps, are the spines. This one, and if you've never seen the inside, they're pretty neat. They're usually really fragile, the ones I've gotten. Sometimes I think it would be awesome if CGC graded these. It would bring this whole new light to pulps, and pulps would just, I think, get really popular because there's amazing covers. But it's really, Golden Age already is tough to get all the information about, and know if you're have the right pages, or it's trimmed, and or restoration, all that, and what even exists, etc. Pulps are way worse. There is a pulp con. I'd love to go to that someday. But yeah, so if you never looked inside, I mean, the paper quality is generally way worse than comics, even from that era, if that's possible. But and so, could you imagine CGC trying to go through all these pages? I mean, it'd be nuts. Now there are, in some of these, especially timely pulps, there are some Schomburg page illustrations, some Kirby and Simon. There's a book about that. The name escapes me right now. I haven't read it yet, but it's the secret behind Marvel something or other. And it was basically, I think the gist of it was that, some of these guys like Kirby and Schomburg and some other guys, they had families to support, and comics were just a job to them. So they would just take, and it was the Depression just was finishing up before the war, but so I don't blame. I don't think it was this big conspiracy or whatever. They just, I mean, heck, if you're an artist and you can make money, that's hard enough. But there were some racy stuff in some of these. This one I'm going to cover it up because I don't know who's watching this, but let's see if I can do this. Yes. So, as you can imagine, under my finger there are some breasts. And a lot of these illustrations aren't signed or anything, so you really have to do a lot of research to figure it out, who is the artist. But if you're really into it, I mean, it is a kind of a cheap way to get some stuff. Buy some of your favorite artists of that time. Yeah, this one, no back. You YouTube note. Okay. There's crazy ads in these things. They're really cool. That thing. I wish there was a photo journal guide, because the covers are just so good. Yeah, this thing is really falling apart. Red Circle. So, yeah, you might not know, but Red Circle magazine is another publisher, or it's a part of Marvel. So if people say Red Circle Pulps, it means Marvel or Timely. Martin Goodman had all kinds of different ways to name things, different ways, and to save money. And I mean, that's part of the cool thing about Golden Age, is like you could just spend a lifetime understanding all this stuff, and it really feels like you're uncovering some secrets. These radios you can buy. Ooh. Television adapted. It's interesting. It doesn't look like a television. I'm not up to date on when television even was invented. I believe the first television in a comic, oh boy, I think it was in the Marvel. What is this? Quit tobacco. Yeah. I wonder what they had to do. The easy, natural way to break the grip tobacco holds on you. I read some of the stories in some of these pulps, and they're brutal. Like, this is really where all the stories and ideas of like EC comic style, like just the brutality and like exciting and violent, and like it was all in the pulps, that's for sure. Let's take a look at these titles. So volume 1, number 6. There aren't, that I could found, Marvel Tales 1 through 5. I think it might be the other Marvel pulps. The Angel from Hell, Love's Lethal Ingredient, Perfectionist Perdition. Oh, those were 2 gripping novelettes. And the Astonishing book-length novel. Yeah, that does look cool. Maybe I should try reading that. I'm afraid it's gonna just fall apart. Some of the greatest fantasy writers had their start in pulps. Edgar Rice Burroughs, Tarzan, and John Carter Mars. Conan, what was it? Howard? Something Howard? Edward Howard? Oh, I forget. And the Lovecraft, Cthulhu. Girls for Satan's Utopia. Girls, beware the man who is at once subordinary lover and extraordinary scientist. Look at this. So, published every other month by Western Fiction Publishers. I mean, I'll have to read up on that. As far as I know, this is Goodman's. Trained for Electricity. Get the facts. Oh boy. Enjoy beautiful, natural looking false teeth. dentistry. You know, I hate going to the dentist. I'm sure it was even just a nightmare back then. But hey, if anyone, if you've ever had a really bad toothache though, it's one of the worst pains you could ever feel. Alright, I did want to talk about these other comics, but I'll have to just make another one, because I guess I could ramble on about just one.